Colorado Trail. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. Colorado Trail segments 12 through 15. We kind of have to back up a little bit because on 11 you have to make the choice. Am I going to do collegiate east or west?
Right.
So we kind of covered that on the last one, but this is going to focus solely on the east side. So we'll do another video that deals with the west. Maybe a little collaboration with Snackbox, his insights, which is kind of cool because he's been there several times. And couple that with you know, what we read and see and, you know, educate ourselves on. So this one is definitely 12 through 15, and a couple of neat stories in there. We'll share those with you, but let's get into it. Let's see. I think before we actually get into this, some of the things we kind of haven't talked about is if you get to DIA and you have to wait on somebody,
right.
Maybe somebody else coming in to hike with you, or, you know, for whatever reason you're delayed, or maybe you're getting a ride from the airport and that person can't be there for a little while. There are a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of restaurants, and one of the neat things that DIA is doing is once you leave and walk out the main doors outside of security under that giant American flag, just before you head down the escalators, they have this big pavilion area, which is actually really cool. And I mean, if you have a dog, it's set up for dogs too.
That's pretty cool, yeah. I didn't know they had that actually.
But they have this really nice area, and depending on, you know, the time of year, they actually put skating rinks out there in the wintertime, and you know, just depending on the time of year. But right now it's kind of set up like a park. So you have benches, and they put like this AstroTurf down, and they have the one games, I still don't know what it's called, cornhole. Right. So they have several of those set up, which is kind of neat. You know, you don't have to just sit there and stare at the wall. There's a wine bar there, there's a brewery out there, there's a coffee shop out there, you know, and it's all out in the open, but it's covered.
Yeah.
So if the weather's bad, you know, you're not going to get wet, and the sun doesn't seem to be as intense because of the covered. It's all glass, but it just doesn't seem to be as intense, and there's a breeze all the time. It's kind of a cool area. And then something I just noticed is they have free golfing.
Right, yeah, you mentioned
it's like
that.
A little putt-putt course, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's maybe 8 holes, 9 holes, something like that. I talked to the guy that was running it, and he's like, yeah, it's totally free. Just come on out. You want to play around to golf to, you know, kill some time. It looked kind of fun, but
so that
yeah, if you need to kill time,
the same?
cornhole, yeah, it's all just sitting there. It's all free.
That's nice.
So, you know, if you got to kill time, you know, there's even a Subway sandwich place just inside the door. So I mean, there's all kinds of coffee shops and everything. So it's easy to kill time if you got there and you had to. Or on the reverse side,
right,
you're done with the trail and you got to go home, and you know, you got, oh geez, I got 3 or 4 hours before my trip leaves. You don't have to just sit in the waiting area and go, okay, here we go, I got 3 or 4 hours. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So something to touch on. All right, so let's see if we can get through this. We're actually finally getting some monsoon moisture pushing up into Colorado,
it's
and
starting to come down.
and we got a little rain going on here, so we'll try to get through this as quick as we can. You know, we've had a lot of people contacting us, a lot of people starting early.
Right.
We dropped a few people off at the trail already, and it's kind of fun and exciting to see the look on their faces. You know, they're about to start this big journey, and they're just kind of like, I can't wait. And sometimes you get them to the trail and they're like, okay, 500 miles. But they get over it. It's, you know, it's just an exciting time to see all these people coming out here. I think in another week we're really going to kick things off, you know, around the 1st of July. A lot of people seem to be coming around that time, so it's going to be interesting. A lot of rides coming up, a lot of people on trail. So anyway, let's do this before we get rained on here. Segment 12. So what are we looking at here?
As far as rides.
Well, we're back at the airport, obviously. You got to find your way to baggage claim, and then you're gonna go all the way through the airport as usual. Get your gear and head out the doors, down the escalators, onto the A-line train to downtown. $10.50. And once you're at Union Station, we're looking for the Outrider Crested Butte bus. It's the Mustang service. And we're looking to go to Buena Vista on this one. $24. Still good price. Once you get to Buena Vista, gonna have to find a ride. You know, hitches, I think, in this area are probable. We'd stick with, you know, CT Shuttler. But you're 19 miles away from the trailhead in Buena Vista. And all these trailheads in the next few segments are really busy.
Right, yeah.
A lot of hikers. I mean, if you look here in the data book here, we got Waverly Mountain at just under 14,000. Got Mount Harvard at 14,000. You got Mount Columbia at 14,000. I mean, this is the Collegiate Peaks Wilderness. It's beautiful. I mean, you're on the east side. You don't have the giant views that you would in the west, but it's still pretty. You know, it's a real nice hike in the woods. It's challenging.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of uphill battles here. I mean, you're climbing almost up to 12,000 feet in a couple of places. And that, you know, shocking that you really don't get these big, giant, above tree line views in this segment.
Yeah, you don't.
But it's still neat. It's cool, and it's worth doing. We did it. We're happy we did it. Now we're ready to take on the West and see what the West has in store. But yeah, it's segment 12, pretty standard. Airport, down on the A line to downtown. You're looking for the Mustang bus, go on to Buena Vista, and then you're gonna look for a ride. Pretty standard. It's not a big to do here. Let's get on to segment 13, see what we come up with. What the heck was that?
What?
Oh, dragonflies.
Oh yeah, dragonflies.
I like dragonflies. They eat the mosquitoes.
They do.
So okay, here we are, segment 13. Again, standard, very standard. Get into the airport, looking for the A-line train to downtown Union Station. Then you're going downstairs to the Mustang bus, Outrider Crested Butte bus to Buena Vista, $24. And of course now you're looking for a ride, but you're a lot closer than the last segment. Now you're like 7 miles from the trailhead, so not that far. You know, a hitch here, probably not that unlikely.
Right.
Definitely have shuttlers in the area for sure. I know that. You know, heck, you could walk it if you really wanted to. If you want those extra miles, you know, it's probably a lot of road walking, but
yeah.
You know, segment 13's a neat segment. You know, it's tough. You got Mount Yale.
Yeah.
Whoa, what a climb! You know, I mean, I can't remember. It's like a 3,000 foot climb or something in a very short time. But you know, the highlights here, you got Mount Princeton, a 14er. You got Mount Yale's a 14er. Really cool area. You know, and once you get there, it's, you know, once you're done with Yale, I thought it was all right.
Right,
I mean, you were beat up because, you know, segment 12, now segment 13, there was a lot of climbing, and we were beat up. We really were.
Yeah,
and, you know, one of the neatest stories I think we have from the Colorado Trail is meeting people on the trail unexpectedly.
Right.
And having wonderful things happen to us. And this is one of those times where, like, we wanted to set ourselves up, you know, towards the end of this segment to get our resupply at the Mount Princeton Hot Springs store. We weren't planning on staying there at all.
No.
And, you know, so we were going to camp right towards the end before that little road walk, and there was just nowhere to camp. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we had all these there
were lots of people.
There was a lot of people there, and it was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So we kept walking. You know, we're just road walking now, trying to come up with a plan, and it's like, what do we do? stay on the side of this road. It felt like America's Most Wanted, you know, so we didn't want to do that. And it's like, well, you know, we can go past Mount Princeton, but then we'd have to walk back to get our resupply the next day, because this was like evening time. Things are shutting down.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, what do we do? And we ran into a really neat buddy on trail that just happened to be there out of the blue. Jay hikes a lot. Really, really cool YouTuber down in the southern states, and he does some really, really nice videos.
He does. They're very
Oh my
fun.
gosh, he puts a lot into these videos,
And his post as well on Instagram.
oh my gosh,
They're good. Yeah.
Jay, you're still. Thank you so much for that. When we saw you on trail, it was just a big lift to us on the trail that day. But
I'm pretty tired at that point. I was beat up. I was pretty beat up.
we were tired.
Yeah.
But we called Mount Princeton on the phone, and we're like, yeah, we know you don't have any rooms. And they were like, no, we really don't.
The resort,
you know,
yeah.
we're full.
Yeah.
So we're like, do you know of anybody in the area? And they're like, no, everybody's probably full. And we're like, okay. So we hung up, kept walking, and we're like, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, this is one of those times where you're just like, we got to figure something out. We're going to wing it here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be okay.
Right. It
But,
would have been fun.
you know, I think we walked another half an hour or so, and I was like, I just felt compelled to call them back. Are you sure there's nothing in the area you don't know about? Or
campsite.
yeah, maybe there's a place we can go camping
Right.
somewhere. Or there's a campground, anything.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because it was the same person again, and she laughed on the phone, and she goes, you're not going to believe this. We just had a cancellation. And we're like, we'll take it. She said, well, don't you want to know what it is or anything like that? And I'm like, we don't care at this point. We're so tired. We're so just dirty. And
Yeah.
we had 2 days of just big
It was
climbs.
tough,
And,
yeah.
you know, just thinking about a hot shower and a nice bed, and then they had that restaurant there.
It was amazing, yeah.
Oh, the restaurant was something else. But they had the store, they had a resupply there. It was just good that it happened, because we were able to just get there, get the room, relax, and just kind of, I don't know, put ourselves back together, you know, after all those climbs, and then kind of the drama there of like, what are we going to do?
And you know what we didn't do, and you can't do, is the hot springs, obviously. And it probably would have been good, but we were so beat up, and
Yeah,
it would have
we
been
were
good.
tired.
It would have felt
But
great.
the water in the shower,
The water in the shower was,
it's all mineral water.
Right, it
You know,
felt
so even
amazing,
taking
yeah.
a shower felt really good. But,
it was good, yeah.
you know, you don't have to get a room to enjoy the resort. I think you can buy a day pass.
I think so. I didn't, yeah.
I know people charge their phones and cameras and whatnot there.
Yeah.
They do have the general store that you can use, and then I think you can get a day pass and use the hot springs. I think they have showers. I don't know about
Yes.
laundry facilities. I don't remember that
Okay.
one. But you can eat in the restaurant.
Oh, and the food is
oh,
just
gosh.
amazing. Yeah, it was
And
delicious.
you know, they're really hiker friendly.
They were. Yeah.
You know, I was kind of nervous about that because it's a resort.
Right.
And
we
I
were
thought,
pretty dirty.
you know, we're really dirty, and
Yeah.
you know, I even told her that on the phone. I said, you know, we're hiking the Colorado Trail. We're a mess. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Come on in, everything will be fine.
Right.
And it was.
It was.
I mean, they were so super nice there, and just a really nice facility. So
It's hard to get a room though. I think we just happened.
we got
to,
lucky. We got
lucky.
so lucky. But,
Yeah. So.
we highly recommend staying there if
Or
you can, or
stopping
working,
through, yeah.
or just stop.
Yeah.
You know, because they have more than just getting a room.
Right. They do.
There's so much other things you can get there.
So many things. Yeah.
That's going to be kind of a lead-in to the next segment. Mount Princeton can play a role in you getting to the next trailhead. We'll get into that on the next one here.
Okay.
We're going to go into segment 14. Okay, so rain's holding off. We're doing good. Segment 14. Now you got 3 options here. It's kind of interesting. You're getting to the Chalk Creek Trailhead, which is a little off the beaten path, but you're still doable.
Right.
You know, it's kind of a side Forest Service road, dirt road, whatever. Nothing major, you know. It's there, and again, the trailhead's going to be busy. But option one, here we go, back at the airport, A-line train to downtown Denver Union Station, 10:50. Union Station, you're looking for the Mustang Outrider Crested Butte bus to Buena Vista, $24. And from here, you're going to be looking for that infamous ride. You're 15 miles away from the trailhead. You're going to have a lot of people hiking in that area as well. I mean, you back at the data book here, you know, we're talking day hikers, bike riders, but, you know, we have Mount Antero 14er, Mount Shavano 14er, and of course this peak, I don't even know this peak, but there's a trail from Mount Shavano, and then it continues on. It looks like, I'll butcher this one, Tabawak Peak. It's a 14er just beyond Mount Shavano. You know, I don't know, that's just a really neat area to us as well, because we had trail magic in that area that was so welcome and well received.
It was exceptional trail magic.
You know, and another great story from the Colorado Trail, you know, for us anyway. But you know, here you're gonna get Buena Vista, $24, 15 miles from the trail. You could probably hitch a shuttler.
Yeah.
You know, like Uber, we just can't recommend it.
I don't know. I don't
know
how Uber works.
You know how many Uber drivers are in these little towns like this, or if they would even go to a trailhead, maybe in town itself. So option two, again, back at the airport, A-line train to downtown Denver, Union Station, look for the Mustang bus, Outrider Crested Butte bus to Salida this time. So the next stop basically after Buena Vista is going to be Salida, and that's $29. And this is going to be 24 miles from the trailhead. So the trailhead is kind of in between the two cities, closer obviously to Buena Vista, but you know, you have to throw Salida into this one just because it's an option, and it's a really nice town. Buena Vista?
Sorry.
Buena Vista? Buena Vista. Tomato. Yeah, okay. So, you know, that's another option. Option number 3 on the tails of segment 13, using Mount Princeton Hot Springs Resort, which is cool.
What do you mean using?
Well, if you get to Buena Vista, Buena Vista, I don't know, I just call it that. Once you get there, the resort has, I don't know if it's a contract or it's just a service provided by somebody. I actually called the resort.
Right.
I talked to the resort and asked them to confirm this, that if you stay there or use the resort, if you use the resort for the day, you would have to call the resort and make sure, or call the service. It's Colorado Adventure Tours out of Buena Vista. And you could talk to them or talk to Mount Princeton about, do I have to have a room?
Right.
Or can it just, I'm just going to use your resort for the day? I know if you have a room, this is going to obviously work. If you're just going to use it for the day, I don't know. That's kind of a gray area. I should have asked. But when you get to Buena Vista, you would contact the Colorado Adventure Tours, who provide a free shuttle to Mount Princeton Hot Springs.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is kind of neat. So
is this a new service?
I don't know. I when I was going through the research, I just happened to see it, and I was like, well, that's interesting. I called the resort, and obviously, if you stay at the resort, you get to Buena Vista, you call the Colorado Adventure Tours, and they will, schedule a pickup for you and take you to Mount Princeton Hot Springs free of charge. which is kind of a cool
That's
service.
a very cool service. Yeah.
And then, once you're at Mount Princeton Hot Springs, yes, you're still in segment 13, but you're 2.5 miles away from segment 14. So you could walk it. We did. It's not a bad walk. It wasn't bad at all, really. It's actually kind of fun. Or you could probably get a CT shuttler. I'm sure you could hitch. There was a lot of traffic on this road. And maybe you could talk to somebody at the resort about maybe getting a ride. They might know someone who knows.
It wasn't a bad walk. I don't.
No, it wasn't a bad walk at all. I mean, it was actually quite pleasant because where this is situated, it's really neat. And you got mountains and the creek, and it's just kind of a fun walk.
Yeah, it was
I
nice.
mean, as road walks go,
I don't
this
mind
is
them.
a really pretty area.
I mean,
so,
the busy ones I don't care for, but
No.
I like road walks. Okay.
So it was a fun time to just kind of talk and think about what's going to go the rest of the day. You don't have to worry about necessarily where you're putting your feet because it's just flat, pavement.
Right.
So, but that's 3 options to get to segment 14. I personally like the 3rd option because now that we've stayed at Mount Princeton, I'd do it again.
I just don't know how easy it is to get a room
No,
at Mount Princeton. 'Cause I heard
I know.
others mention that they tried.
And it is a pricey option.
It is pricey.
Mount Princeton
It's not a
is
standard,
not cheap.
not a standard room price. Yeah.
But what they provide for the money that you're paying, it's
It
good.
was nice.
It was very nice. And you got to pamper yourself once in a while.
It was a great rest. A nice shower.
And that was the big one on the Colorado Trail for us. That was the big pampering that we chose to have. Not necessarily at the time. It just happened that way. So we thought, that was our one big to do. And we'll just kind of watch it the rest of the way. But worth every penny. I had a great time there. It was beautiful. So all right, let's look at segment 15. See what we got to come up with here. Okay, segment 15. I'm hearing a little more rain
It's a
here.
little more rain. Be nice.
So it smells like rain.
Open the house up, feels
I
good.
can feel it kind of dropping on us. So let's try to get through this before the computer fries.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be such a bad thing because this is a very old laptop, and you know what? It's made us frustrated more than once. So we're ready for you to go. I'm just not ready for the expense of replacing it. Okay, so segment 15, we're going to start at Salida, one of our favorite trail towns on the entire Colorado Trail. Absolutely wonderful town. It provided everything we needed.
I think when it comes to the trail towns, the way I look at it, they're different. They each have their own, and this one had it offered things that we like, the natural grocers, that sort of thing, and great places to eat.
Great places to eat.
So-
Moonlight Pizza.
There were supposedly others that people went, but that one that was our favorite.
We went back twice.
Yes, amazing salads.
Oh my
and,
gosh, the salad was
pizzas.
amazing. The pizza, everything was fresh.
Everything was fresh.
And they have their own brewery on site, but they also make root beer.
And they make their own salad dressing, so this
And-
dressing was really good.
God,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
just
good.
everything
Yeah.
tasted fresh,
Yeah.
quality, dog friendly, really neat people there. We sat outside and just really enjoyed ourselves. Again, we hadn't even been to the hotel yet. We had all of our gear with
Yeah,
us,
we had
and
our
they're
gear with
like,
us
"Oh,
every
you
day."
guys are hiking the Colorado Trail. Come on in. You're probably tired. Let's get some food in you before you get to your hotel."
It was nice.
They were just super nice
Yeah.
and inviting, and just walking around in town was like that.
It was a nice little town. It is.
It was just very comforting.
Yeah.
I like Salida,
Right.
but here we go. You're at the airport. You're gonna take the A-Line train to downtown Denver Union Station. 10:50.
10:50.
Mustang bus, Outrider Crested Butte bus to Salida, $29. And from here, you're going to need a ride. And we're 13 miles away from the trailhead here, so not super far. I think a hitch is probably doable. There's a couple of options here because you can get back to the trailhead, or you can go up to Monarch Pass and hike part of the Collegiate West and meet up with segment 15.
Right.
There's a couple of options here.
Or if you're staying true to it, you could.
If you're staying true to it, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But I think we opted for the Collegiate West at Monarch, and wow.
Well, we got to ride with someone.
We got a ride who was going there. They could have dropped us off.
They could have dropped us off. They would have, yeah.
But
absolutely.
it was a really good friend that we had flip-flopped several times with, and just loved spending time and listening to his stories.
So we thought we'll just
David's hiked this trail 5 times.
Is it 5 or 6?
5 or 6.
Yeah, he's done it several.
So you're hiking with one of the Colorado Trail godfathers, if you want to call it that. So much information, so many experiences, so many stories, and just a real pleasure to walk with.
I wish I could remember the name of his book. He has a book. I can't recall. Is it Tales of the Colorado Trail?
Tales of the Colorado. We'll have to put that on here.
We can put it in the
great
description.
Great book.
He interviews people and gets their story.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because there's some amazing stories of why people are out there, what they're just who their background. And
David, gosh, what a sharp memory. He remembers things.
And he has some gorgeous pictures. He
And
does.
then
Beautiful.
when he tells the story, it's like it just happened.
Yeah.
And so we were like, sure, we'll pass up the traditional start to that segment and go hike part of the Collegiate West from Monarch, and it's not much. But it puts you at above tree line right away.
It's beautiful.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
gorgeous,
it was so amazing.
Yeah.
But that was a real treat to do that.
That would be.
So, and Salida, you could easily get a ride from there. I think you could hitch. I wouldn't doubt that you could get an Uber from this one.
And there's the hostel. We stayed in a hotel,
Yes.
but there is the hostel that you could network there as well.
There's the hostel. Most likely every one of these towns, they all have hostels.
Right.
And we would go and donate anything that we had extra and put in the hiker boxes, and we would see people that we had already hiked with. So how's it going? Where are you guys at? And how's everybody doing? And we found rides like that. Down the way, we found a couple of rides just going to hostels, and they were like, "Oh, hey, it's the Mad Hippies. What's going on?" And through conversation, the next thing you know, you got a ride to the trail in the morning.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
So really cool area. Really did like Salida a lot, and we opted for a full 0 there.
Yeah, it was nice. We needed it.
We needed it, but it was just so relaxing and a fun walk around town.
Give us an opportunity to eat more food.
Yeah, we ate plenty of food,
Yeah.
but there was the natural grocer, so it had everything we needed.
Right.
The Moonlight Pizza, they had all kinds of great options for us, and the food was terrific.
I found that I crave like vegetables, and the salad was just perfect because I crave the fruits and vegetables.
And maybe that's part of the hiking on the trail. You get into town and you eat food, and you're like, it's the best thing I've ever had in my life.
But it was pretty good.
But it was
good.
It was super good and
yeah.
super fresh.
Yeah.
So, that's 12 through 15. Not a whole lot of information this week. Next week we'll go with 16 and beyond and see where we wound up, and keep moving along and keep digging, find some more information. Again, if you know of anything that we haven't covered, let us know. You have questions, concerns,
Well, in your research, I know that this is looking ahead, but how it gets more difficult, right?
Yes,
and
it's going to be interesting to see how you get on and off the trail as we go further into this, because it wasn't a focus of ours.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we knew we probably had options, but it just wasn't a focus of ours, because, I mean, at this point, barring any emergency, we were going. We knew it. At this point in the game, we knew we were going all the way to Durango. We were feeling good, our packs were good, our gear was good, our bodies were good, and we knew what we were going to do. So it just wasn't a focus, to get on or off. But, now on the backside, wanting to return to some of these areas, it is a focus.
Right. Just wanting to go.
So,
do some more. Yeah.
I can't wait to get into those next few segments and see how difficult this could be.
Maybe we just need a trip to Salida at some point to get
Maybe
pizza.
we should get a pizza.
Sounds good.
Copy that. So, all right, get out there, get healthy, keep moving. See you on the trail.
Hi.
We realize there's so many ups and downs and lower parts of the trail, and being in the forest, and being at lower altitudes, but this is the place we like to call home on trail. The Alpine is just a wonderful, wonderful place.